Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will present our paper. The paper title is Climate Change Risk Assessment Toward Agriculture and Food Security in Sumedang Regency. This paper is the result of the collaboration between myself, Hadi Ferdiansyah, and Nugraha Fitriana Ruhiana and RT Nurfindarti. Okay, we start from the introduction and background this study. In this chart, we can see the fluctuation of rainfall in Kabupaten Sumedang or in Sumedang Regency that influence the rice production in Sumedang Regency from 2002 till 2021. The decline of rice production is 10 to years that the rainfall is lower. As you see, in 2003, the rice production is dropped when the rainfall is lower. Then in 2015, then in 2019 till 2022. The fluctuation of rainfall in Sumedang Regency uh, is follow the pattern of the occurrence of El Nino and La Nina in Indonesia, as we can see in these charts. And the climate change in Kabupaten Sumedang causes the hydrometeorological disaster such as flood, landslide, land and forest fires, and tornado. But among all, landslides are the dominant disaster in Sumedang Regency. So this slide is the indicator of climate change in Sumedang Regency that the introduction of this study. The next question, why we focus on agriculture and food security in this study? Because agriculture is one of vulnerable sector in Sumedang Regency. In these charts, we can see the agricultural business field is the main sector that drives the economy in Sumedang Regency. During the last 10 years, the average of agricultural sectors contribute about 20.27% of total GRDP, but more than 15% of households working in the agricultural sectors are in the group of 40% of low-income people. How about food security? In Sumedang Regency, the rice cultivation is only in 6 sub-districts as a basis of the cultivation. In this map, it's shown by green, dark green color. But ironically, several villages in the sub-district that uh, rice plant based are categorized as food insecure. The purpose or the aims of the study is to determine areas or villages where the agriculture sector and food security are at high risk in the event or the occur of a landslide as hydrometeorological disaster. The result of the analysis can be used as decision making in the regional or local government in a disaster risk reduction. Okay, let us continue at the method stage. A risk assessment is a method for determining the nature and level of risk by analyzing the level of hazard and condition of vulnerability that potentially harm people, property, public services, livelihoods, and the environment exposed to a disaster. The leveling of risk from a disaster and the impact of climate change is obtained from the result of the intersection between hazard and vulnerability and divided by adaptive capacity. The indicator's determination of hazard and vulnerability can identify from dominant factors that affect risk leveling. The indicator's determination depends on the intended target for reducing risk and vulnerabilities. After conducting the FGD and identifying the data, the hazard indicator used in this study are consist of rainfall data, landslide occurrence, and landslide-prone area data. The vulnerability indicator consists of the ratio of rice field area to village area, mine livelihood, population density, proportion of poor people, and road accessibility quality. Indicators of adaptive capacity consist of infrastructure like agricultural land irrigation, agricultural infrastructure, then community empowerment in environmental conservation and disaster management, and disaster early warning system. In general, the mathematical results of risk analysis are shown in the following categorization table. Risk categorization result from the meeting between the level of hazard and the level of vulnerability that has been divided by its adaptive capacity. For example, if a higher hazard level meets a higher vulnerability level, it will result a highest risk level and so on. Okay, let's continue to the result. This map shows the vulnerability of each village if the landslide occurs, which caused mostly by extreme rain. The higher vulnerability level tend to be concentrated in the outermost areas of the Sumedang Regency. Of the 200 village of the 277 village in Sumedang Regency, there are 7 villages with higher levels of agricultural vulnerability and food insecurity. The 7 villages are Tanjung, Nanjungwangi, Tegalmanggung, Bangbayang, Pamulihan, Sukamana, and Cimungkal. Then, these two maps are the result from the analysis of landslide hazard in each village. The maps is contain the data and count the data from the indicators of maximum rainfall based on history data and its projection, the intensity of landslide in the last 5 years, and it overlaid with maps of landslide prone areas. From the landslide hazard analysis using history rainfall data, it is known that the most of the village face a moderate level of landslide hazard, and there is one village with a higher level of landslide hazard, namely Cimanintin. Meanwhile, by using projection rainfall data, the level of potential landslide hazard is increasing. The distribution of the danger of landslide with higher level is also expanding, covering 38 villages. By By the projection in the future, the potential for landslide area will increase, especially in villages that that are in areas prone to landslide. These maps is overlay between vulnerability analysis and landslide hazard analysis. A map of agricultural sector risk and food security is obtained when landslide hazard occurs. In the baseline or the history condition, it can be seen that the agricultural sector and food security is most areas of the Sumedang Regency are facing a moderate level of landslide risk. There are four villages with a very high level of risk from agriculture sector and food security against landslide, namely Pamulihan, Cimungkal, Sukamana, and Cimanintin. Meanwhile, in the future, it is predicted that the level of risk in the agriculture sector and food security will increase and become more widespread. There will be 8 villages with the highest level of risk, namely Pamulihan, Karangbungur, Cilangkap, Cibitung, Sekarwangi, Ganjarusik, Cimungkal, and Sukamana. Villages with low to lower level is dealing with landslide are located in the downtown of Sumedang Regency and close to the Greater Bandung metropolitan area, both in baseline condition and projection or prediction in the future. In conclusion, point 1, the landslide caused by climate change threatens the agriculture and food security sector at Sumedang Regency. Point 2, well, to reduce disaster risk, risk analysis is a tool that could use to determine the location priorities that on the high risk of the impacts of climate change such as landslide. Point number 3, to reduce the risk of the agricultural sector and food security against landslide, there are non-priority villages at Sumedang Regency. For the suggestion of the study and to complete the study, our suggestions are the study must supporting by data from stakeholders and iteration make the analysis more valid and reliable. And that brings us to the end. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.